Alright, so you just picked up the Bible for the first time. Maybe someone gave it to you, or maybe you were curious enough to grab one yourself, or you've heard about Jesus for a really long time, and you finally got a Bible and you open it, and suddenly, boom, you're staring at the table of contents with names like Genesis, Psalms, John, and Romans, and you're thinking, wait, what? Where's the chapter titled Jesus? Where's Jesus in all of this? Trust me, I've been there. It's confusing at first, especially if you've grown up with scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas, where there's usually one main focus. But the Bible is different. It's a collection of books all connected to one big story about God's plan to help humanity out of death and evil through Jesus Christ. And today, I'll help you cut through the confusion and show you exactly where to start if you want to know about Jesus, and we'll break down the Bible a bit as well. And so trust me, when I first started learning about Jesus coming from a Hindu Brahmin background, I had no one to tell me where to read about Jesus, how to become a Christian. Now, if you're curious about Jesus and who he is, what he taught, and why people follow him, the best place to start isn't at the very beginning of the Bible, which is titled Genesis. Instead, you'll want to start with one of the 4 books that talks about Jesus' life directly. And these are called the Gospels. Gospel means good news. And there are 4 books of the Gospels, which are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These 4 books directly talk about the miracles Jesus did and about his birth and crucifixion. In the book, you're also going to learn about Jesus' 12 disciples. After Jesus' death, these disciples went all around the world telling people about Jesus. The disciple Thomas went to India to tell people about Jesus and make more disciples of Christ, landing in Kerala and making his way to Chennai. The word disciple might be new to you, and it was super new to me when I first started reading the Bible, but simply a disciple is someone who is a student. Let's break down the Bible for a second. At the top of the page, you're going to see the book of the Bible. So this is the book of Matthew. And to the side of the page, you're going to see the number. This is the chapter of the Bible. Next, you're going to see that each sentence has a number next to it. That is called a verse. And so when we're talking about John chapter 3, verse 16, what we're pulling up is the book of John, chapter 3, and then verse 16, sentence 6. So Jesus had 12 disciples that you'll read about, and some of them were the authors of the 4 books talking about Jesus. So out of the 4 books of the gospel, where should I start? I always recommend reading the book of John. It's right after Luke and before the book of Acts. The book of John will not only show you who Jesus is, but why he came down. Now, if you want to know why there are 4 books of the Bible talking about Jesus, you can watch my next video. But when you're reading the book of John, you have to recognize this. In the very first chapter, Jesus is called the Word, and that's just to showcase his divinity. He's the Word of God. And that's just the basic understanding. And if you want a deeper understanding of that, I would recommend talking to your pastor about it. And if you don't have a pastor, use the AI Church Finder app that we've created in the description below. Click on it, find a church near you, or you can watch my other video. But I highly recommend you finding a church near you. And if you're afraid, please use that bot to help you find churches near you, and God will provide everything that you need to get closer to him. But when you start reading the Bible, don't feel like you need to understand everything right away. Take it slow. Read 1 chapter of John each day. Pray and ask God for help to understand. Highlight, write down anything you don't understand, and ask God to help you, to teach you all these things. Now, the next video, we're going to be talking about Bible translations, because the Bible wasn't originally written in English. It was written in Hebrew and Greek. And as the gospel spread across the world, more and more people wanted to read the Bible, so they needed to translate the scriptures into something that many people could read so they can get the word of God. Please watch that video because it's going to be such a big help. I was so confused at the first start. Please subscribe and share this with people so the algorithm will push the video toward other Christians and Hindu families so that they can find this type of education as well.